All right, in this video, we're gonna do a quick hand sketch, and we're gonna slant our pencil and cover the whole paper with graphite. And then we're gonna use our eraser to draw a hand. It'll take you a long time to cover your paper with graphite if you don't slant your pencil. So it's really key to make sure you slant your pencil and cover the whole page with a shade of gray. So just make sure there's not a lot of eraser markings on the paper, and then shade it in with gray. But the pencil really should just be laying down on the paper. It shouldn't be sharp lines like that. So you can cover the whole paper. And you want it to just be a solid state of gray. It's not going to take me long to cover my paper. I'm going to try to get off some little grooves under the paper. And then just slant the pencil and go ahead and get a shade of gray on the paper. So there's not really a lot of white. And your pressure determines, you know, how much darkness you're going to achieve. You press really hard while you're doing this, you're going to get a really dark shading on the paper. If you do it softly, like super soft like this, it's going to just be a soft gray. But you really want to go ahead and apply medium amount of pressure so that you can have a good background to your piece. And so it looks kind of nice what we're going to do here today. So I'm going to come in on the other side of the paper and shade that side in as well. And I'm using wide range of motion of my wrist to really stretch out my gray across the whole paper. All right, so now I have a good amount of gray on my paper. And I'm just making sure that there's not a lot of white areas. So when I come in to erase, you're really going to get the idea of what the hand looks like on the paper. Because I'm going to, like I said, this is a hand sketch. We're going to use an eraser to go in and sketch this hand. And the hand is going to look like it's reaching out like so. We're going to use the left hand, and it's going to look like it's waiting for something to be placed in the hand. All right, that took me just 3 minutes to really get a good covering over the paper. If you want it to be smooth, covering over the whole paper, what you can do is take a little piece of scrap paper and smooth out the gray. So just get some scrap paper, and then you can come in and get a good solid gray background on the paper. For the sake of time, of course, I'm going to speed this up. But this is going to go really fast. If you're not getting enough graphite moved around, you can go ahead and add some onto the paper. And then you can smooth it around to the white spaces. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the hand. And I'm going to use the eraser to bring in the hand. So I'm going to start at the top of the paper, and I'm going to erase the wrist into the hand. I'm going to come around down here, and then add this in. Put a thumb right over here. me put a fingernail in here. The lines on the thumb. And I'm gonna fix this fingernail and this finger here. And I'm gonna go back in and add in some more fingers. Now the shape that you get when you're adding in fingers is like an oval. So these are like oval half moon type markings. And then I'm gonna draw a little bit and add that in. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and fix this finger. And then I'm gonna add okay, so my proportions are off. So the thumb, when you're looking at the hand, and the hand is here, like so, this finger here, the pointer finger, is very close to the thumb. So you can't have it where you're drawing this hand reaching out and somebody's placing something in the hand and there's this big gap right here. So I need to add the other fingers in, but I have to make sure that my spacing is correct as well. So I'm going to go back in and then bring my thumb closer to my pointer finger. So this has to be squeezed smaller in here. So let's go ahead and erase this by adding more graphite onto the paper. That's how you erase when you're working with darks and lights. And I'm going to add in this finger here, like so. And now my thumb is going to be here, just like this. Uh-oh, I got to be careful here because I don't want my camera to fall. Okay. There we go. Now that's a lot better. Get rid of your erasers, shaving your eraser pieces here, because what'll happen is it'll mess up your picture. Because remember we went ahead and smoothed out the background. All right, let's erase. Because remember, we have 5 fingers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is 5. Like so. And then the fingernail is going to be in here. Just like that. And if you want to touch it up, you can do this. Darken in the areas of the folds of the finger. And right over here, it's a little bit darker. And right here, it's super dark. If you find that this is too difficult to do, always remember, it's okay to erase. It's okay to make a mistake. So I'm using the eraser, I'm using the graphite, and I'm just adding in what I mess up with. So if I say, oh, this finger's too large or this finger's too small, I'll just go back in and fix it. You know, this is a mistake-free zone. I mean, not mistake-free, but it's a forgiving zone where you can go ahead and make a mistake and then just go back in and adjust it. It's, you know, it's not done until you say it's done. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is just, you know, a failure type of art. The beauty of it is that you're using one utensil or one medium, which is the graphite, and you're adding in and taking away what works and what doesn't work. So once the proportions are correct, you're set. You just add in, is this a large finger, a skinny finger? Do all the fingers, are they all represented here? Are they not all represented? It's up to you to go ahead in and make your drawing look the way that you want it to look. Remember too, we're doing the inside of the fingers. So there's a lot of lines and different pieces on the insides of the fingers. So just go ahead and add those in as you can. And do the best that you can. Remember also that this is skin that you're portraying, and skin is smooth. It doesn't have a rough texture to it. So go ahead and smooth out the best, to the best of your ability, what you can. And then if you don't want to erase and take away some of the graphite, you can softly use the eraser to move the graphite around and smooth out the texture of the skin as well. So, you know, it's up to you to do the best that you can and to work with this to get what you want to be on the paper. Now, I'm working in a small amount of time. You have more time than me, because for the sake of this video and working with uploads and downloads, I don't want this to be a 20-minute video. I want this to be a quick video so that you understand how to work with darks and lights. So go ahead and take your time and get this thing right. A student asked me for this, and so I wanted to make sure I promised them and did what I could. This is a hand sketch here. Hands are, by the way, they make you feel better too. I know some of y'all would say, oh, this is too hard. Hands are the hardest thing to draw. They're not easy. So don't be too hard on yourself. And don't always work with a pencil that is sharp. I just sharpen my pencil, and it's not always the greatest thing to do to work with a sharpened pencil. But I was working on a nub, so I needed some help. Do the best that you can, and don't be so hard on yourself. This is a learning experience. If you don't mess up, you don't learn anything. So make a mistake and do the best you can. Proportions. That finger was too big. for it to be a pinky finger. So I had to make it smaller. And now I'm just going to smooth out my graphite.